Hello, and welcome to 60 Minutes.
The South China Sea covers 1.3 million square miles, and since the 1950s, China has laid claim to the sea in its territory, and has continued to push for control of the waters. The sea is one of the most heavily used shipping routes, and it connects the Indian and Pacific Oceans. In the past 2 decades, it's been subject to increasing tensions in a debate over who has rightful claim to the water. China in recent years has made a strategic military move to try and solidify its case for ownership of the sea. However, 5 other countries have a strong claim to the important waters.
The South China Sea has been under debate since the mid to late 1800s, but has seen a recent uptick in tensions. The countries' direct involvement in recent years have been Brunei, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Other prominent world powers that have been involved are the United States, Japan, and a few prominent European powers such as UK, France, and Germany. This worldwide presence in such a small and economically crucial area of the world has made tensions high and territorial talks impossible.
The issue of the South China Sea can be tracked back to the 1800s, when multiple countries and empires staked claim and started small settlements on the 2 major island groups in the sea, the Paracel and Spratly Island chains. The debate continued into the 1900s, as most of the modern-day countries who staked claim began to emerge. France owned many of the islands for the first portion of the century until the 1930s. Then China and Japan both took over portions of the sea islands and participated in mining and exploitation of the 2 major archipelagos' resources. Then in 1939, the Empire of Japan took control of the whole sea at the beginning of World War II. They then controlled it until losing control of it and losing the war to the United States and the Allied forces. Soon after the war, China was given control of the South China Sea and its islands, which they held for a few years until they gave it to the North Vietnam Communist government, who never fully took control of the sea. Then in 1969, a UN-sponsored research team discovered oil under the seafloor. This and a growing trade of oil going through the area sparked a frenzy to gain control of the islands.
Now, since the turn of the century, we have seen a heightened desire by countries to take control of the critical sea. The country pushing hardest to take control of the sea has been China, which has made countless headlines with its bold and fearless tactics. One major thing they have done to add to their case to laying claim to the territory is the dredging and adding to islands. They then built airfields and military bases, all in an effort to legitimize their claim to the sea. This has provoked many other countries from inside and outside the region to step in and take action. So far, actions taken by countries in a naval sense have ranged from operations, intelligence gathering, including exercises, and passages through contested waters, all aimed at maintaining freedom of navigation in the air and sea. This, however, will not bring a solution or agreement anytime soon.
International intervention in this conflict would be the fastest way to a resolution. However, with so many countries having claims in the region, it is unlikely to see any strong push for any major organizations like the United Nations. ASEAN, or more commonly known as the Association of the Southeast Asian Nations, which includes all the countries which lay claim to the South China Sea, except China, is the alliance that is under pressure to fend off China. This, of course, so far hasn't worked, and many experts believe that they will not be successful in doing so, due to all the members of ASEAN being heavily reliant on China economically. This reliance on China by nearly all countries involved poses itself a big obstacle, and brings international affairs into the subject and makes the possibilities of any other country interfering unlikely. It also raises the question of how China will act if it's met with a greater resistance to its goal of taking over the sea for its own. The future of the South China Sea is unknown, along with its true owner. But until then, China and other countries will continue to push for control over the important sea.
Thank you for watching 60 Minutes.